Hey everybody, in today's video, I'm going to be going over the exact appointment setting system that I have used to book hundreds and hundreds of sales calls from Upwork and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars directly from Upwork for both my own agency and my clients' agencies. So with that being said, let's dive right in here. So the goal with appointment setting on Upwork is really simple. It's simply to get prospects who have messaged us onto a live call where we can really accurately explain our services, demonstrate our expertise, and ultimately just show them that we are the right person for this job. Right? If you are able to get on a Zoom call with a prospect on Upwork, as you already know, selling on Upwork is extremely easy. Right? It's actually getting them on that call that's the tricky part. That's where a lot of people fall off. And so that's why we're going to dive into that today. So here's the framework. If you are ending your proposals with a call to action, like you should be, so for example, if you have at the end, I'd like to learn more about your project. Are you free for a quick call on Thursday? Something like that. Then a lot of prospects are just going to reply to that call to action when they message you, right? So for me, it was about 75% of my leads would just respond saying, hey, Nico, yeah, I'd love to hop on a call on Thursday. What time works for you, right? Obviously, that's really easy. You just set those appointments. It's the other ones that are tricky. And so the other 25% are going to ask you questions, right? It could be about pricing, your service delivery, timing, really anything. Pricing being probably the most common one. And so it's these leads that are the toughest to really get on calls with and set these appointments. And I'll also note that depending on the kind of level of sophistication of your services, these percentages will change, right? If you offer custom software development, then I can guarantee you there are going to be more people who have questions for you before they want to hop on a call, right? That's just natural because your service is so much more complicated, right? So that being said, when you get people who are asking you questions about pricing, about service details, about timing or whatever, you don't want to give them a really long-winded in-depth answer. That's not what we want to do. Because if you do that, essentially they're just going to read it and say, okay, awesome. Nico gave me a really long-winded, in-depth answer. I have all the details I need from Nico. Let's move on to the next prospect. Right? And so what I like to do is provide them with a general answer and then again, push for the call, right? The Zoom call is what we want. We want to hop on a live call with these people so we can set ourselves apart from everybody else they've messaged, right? And so you can see here's an example. Right, I applied to this job and he sent 6 different questions back when he responded to me, right? And so you can see in my answer, I do kind of address these first 4. It's not super in depth, right? It's a sentence for each one. And then you can see at the end, I say, in terms of price and number of hours, pricing varies quite a bit for our clients depending on the needs/goals, but for reference, monthly pricing for content creation ranges from $1,100 to $1,900. I'd love to hop on a quick 15-minute call and get a better idea of what you're looking for, right? So especially with price, I encourage everybody to do exactly what I just did. Give them the range and then push for the call, right? And make sure you're posing it as a benefit to them, right? So you could say I'd love to hop on a call and make sure I can give you an accurate quote. Something like that, right? You can say this is the range, but in order to give you an accurate quote, I need to learn more about, your goals and what you're looking for. Are you free for a 10-minute call tomorrow? Right? It's really easy, right? So again, general answer and then push for the call. And then it is important to note that people buy from people they like, right? Nobody buys something that's high ticket from someone that they hate. That's just not how it works, right? And so you don't want to be super pushy about this, right? You want to push for the call, but if they respond saying whatever, right? You don't want to be too pushy. And so you can see here that after I say that to this prospect, he responds with, for number 6, how quickly would you and your team be able to create assets for us based on any, trending memes/hashtags? So you'll notice that I don't push for the meeting again, right? Saying continually, one message after the other, can we get on a call? Can we get on a call? It just sounds desperate, right? So it is a fine balance. It's a fine line that you have to figure out, how to walk, because you don't want to seem desperate and you don't want to piss anyone off, right? And so for this one, I just responded with the answer. And then you can see right after he says, awesome, I'm free for a quick call tomorrow. Great. And so sometimes these people just have one thing that's really important to them. Like this guy, he needed to know that he could get creative assets from me within 2 to 3 days or else, he couldn't even consider us for the project. Right. And so sometimes you'll just have to answer. And again, it'll be obvious. When this happens, generally you're going to get a few different questions. If you answer it and then push for the call, and then they ask you another question, just answer it, right? And then if they don't respond within 2 to 3 days, follow up, follow up, follow up, right? And so that in essence is the Upwork appointment setting system. It's really, really simple, right? And so just a quick recap. Most people, if you're ending your proposals with a call to action in them, should just respond to that proposal, answering the call to action. So if you ask them to meet for a 15-minute call, a lot of people will just say, hey, that sounds great. Are you free Thursday? That's the easy part. The tricky part is when people send you a bunch of questions about pricing, about leads, about whatever else, right? And so when this happens to you, when you do get a bunch of questions in, you want to make sure to give them like a general answer. Don't go super in depth. Give them a general, answer their questions. Don't ignore them, but give them a general answer and then push for the call again and frame it as a benefit to them, right? That's really important because if you frame it as a benefit to them, they're a whole lot more likely to just hop on that call, and they know that they're not just going to be wasting their time. Right. And so that's all we've got for this video. I know it's a quick one. This is a really simple framework. But like I said, it has literally generated hundreds of sales calls for me and generated hundreds of thousands of dollars for both my own agency and my clients' agencies. And so I promise you, if you implement this framework, it will work. It will help you get more leads, more sales calls, and make more money. And so that's all I got for this video. If you liked, make sure to leave a comment down below. If you have any questions, I'll make sure to answer every single comment on this video, and I'll see you in the next one.